TC. Flight team stand up! Hey, man, we have 7 NBA players that completely changed the NBA, man. I see Iverson as soon as I click on the video. Kind of doesn't look right with Michael Jordan like he's giving him a kiss on the forehead. It's not, yeah, but anyway, we have, 7 players, bro. I wonder what 7 players, people really give their respects to, man. So let's check it out.
When we talk about players that completely
switch shot again.
I feel like we often leave out some extremely important names.
Facts.
I remember Colin Cowherd made a list about 8 players that changed the NBA forever. And while I agree with most, there were definitely some key players that were left out. Now, I'm not going to bore you by being Mr. NBA historian, so my list isn't going to have Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, because we all know they're the pioneers of the NBA. I'm going to focus on more of the modern NBA, the NBA me and you got to watch. But before we get into the video,
so I see Steph Curry. It's a good sign.
Make sure that you're following this channel, subscribe, turn on post notifications, follow my social media sites. All that stuff is heavily appreciated, so make sure you're doing that. And without further ado, let's get into this banger. I know y'all miss my voice.
So, who brought the Euro step to
Why is Shannon Sharp talking about the
Manu
NBA?
Ginobili.
He's a football player. Come on.
That LeBron takes credit for. Ginobili invented.
I haven't watched TV in like 3 years, but so I don't know all the analysts all up to date.
Ginobili brought it here because, as Tim Duncan concluded his remarks, genius. He just turned to him and he said, genius. He was basketball genius. No one has ever played harder on a nightly basis, a dribble-to-dribble basis than Manu Ginobili. Nobody's played with more creative flair and fire than Manu Ginobili.
Damn, you're such a Manu Ginobili dick rider. Damn.
That gets overlooked when we talk about a player changing the NBA.
How did he change the game? I'm not even hating, bro. Like, how did he change the game? He's a left-handed shooter. There's a lot of left-handed shooters in the NBA.
Great international players. We bring up Dirk Nowitzki or Hakeem Olajuwon. But people forget, in 2004, Manu Ginobili led Argentina to an Olympic gold medal against a stacked USA team. I mean, I know a lot of these names.
Bro, how is that even like a challenge? Are you serious right now? Like, look, Manu Ginobili is an amazing player, but especially during that time, it's different nowadays, but in that time, like 2012 and below, Team USA had the best players in the world. Every other team in the US, and every other team across the countries had no competition. Like, there's no competition in the US in the Olympics basketball thing. USA is the only dominant team. So Manu Ginobili is the second when it comes to like the best players around the world. You can't compare that. Of course he's gonna lead his team to the finals. He better lead his team to the finals. There's no other competition but Team USA. Like, how are you gonna compare the Olympics to something like this?
We're young, but that USA team had LeBron, D. Wade, Carmelo, Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson. I mean, the list goes on, and Manu beat them. Also,
oh, they beat them? See, I didn't watch the Olympics, but they just beat them because they flopped. That's why. That's the only reason.
To me, if you look at
and plus, he probably wasn't trying.
He's not too athletic. He's a lefty. He's very creative and very crafty, and he got a lot of his style from Manu Ginobili. I mean, with the Euro step, the way he's able to create and draw.
No, the Euro step came from Dwayne Wade,
he basically adopted Manu's style and took it to a completely different level. So for that reason alone, and how popular and utilized that Euro step is, you have to add Manu Ginobili when you talk about somebody changing the NBA. I mean, you just have to. Now, next, Stephen Curry. As we all know, this man is simply the greatest shooter.
Took me a minute to realize.
I know this isn't solely because of Steph, but he's definitely a big part of this.
Yep.
Before he got into the league three-point attempt average per game was sitting steady at around 18 per game. Not too much. But since Stephen Curry,
Steph is just a completely. I've always talked about he's been a game changer, so it's just not surprising. I'm not surprised to see him in his list. He's a legend. He's the reason why people shoot threes in the NBA nowadays.
Destroyed the myth that jump shooting teams can't win NBA championships, and now you see teams like the Rockets.
Such a freaking legend, bro.
Basically trying to emulate.
He can literally shoot and make every basketball rack in that rack, bro.
Now
he hasn't missed a single shot.
Become so effective that even the bigs have to have some type of outside shot. You can definitely blame Stephen Curry for a lot of that.
Yeah, he's the reason the NBA players shoot threes nowadays, bro.
A player that's never brought up in this conversation.
Who?
Kevin Durant.
Thank you. Yes, this made me happy to see this. Because you already knew Steph Curry was going to be in the shit. Like, he definitely changed the game in modern NBA. That's why I wasn't surprised. I was chilling, but I was happy for him. But Kevin Durant,
you don't dribble the ball. You don't take the ball in the wing. You post up and wait for the damn ball. You big as hell. But now, since we've seen how effective a big that's actually
Kevin Durant is probably like the best small forward, in my opinion, in the NBA history, bro.
Most of it is because of that length.
He's very tall. You would think he's a power forward, but he plays like a small forward, bro. He's better than LeBron. I'm taking him over LeBron any day, every day. I'm taking him over LeBron. I'm taking him over Larry Bird. Taking him over Scottie Pippen. You're an idiot if you don't want to take Kevin Durant. You're getting a guaranteed 25 plus a game. You see with LeBron, you don't know if he's going to be on or off. Larry Bird, he sits in the corner all day. He's not athletic. He's not fast. You don't want slowness.
I was really surprised when I seen Colin's list and
he wasn't in there. That's crazy. Yeah, Dirk Nowitzki's a game changer too. I agree.
Dirk was easily one of the first bigs to truly get that title as a stretch big, and he actually won with it. Basically, Dirk helped bring in a whole new wave of sharpshooting bigs that basically.
Yeah, he's a sharpshooting big for sure. This is the reason why demigods exist in the NBA 2K.
Was before Dirk, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley's. These dudes lived in the paint and they basically dominated inside, and he was the total opposite. Nowadays, when we see a big that can shoot, and especially if he's international, the inevitable comparison is Dirk Nowitzki because he did it at the highest level. To me, I don't understand how you leave him out of this list. I'll put him over Tim Duncan as far as changing the NBA because he brought in a whole new wave of big men, so gotta give him that respect. Now, next on this list, this one is kind of a weird one because I'm combining two players, but Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose! Derrick Rose!
They both were drafted at the exact same time, and they're both.
Bro, you can't compare Westbrook to Derrick Rose. Stop. Don't even bring him up in the same sentence. Have some respect, bro.
The athleticism they brought at a point guard position. Point guards are traditionally the smallest players on the court, so you would never really classify them as dominant. You don't see them catching alley-oops with their tongue hanging out, dunking and all that stuff. You don't really see that as a point guard, but these two guys kind of changed that. Russell Westbrook just came off a season where he averaged a triple-double as a 6'3" point guard for the third straight season. If you really think about it,
but did he win a title?
That stuff is unreal. And in his prime,
they just replayed that dunk, bro. Really?
Team to 62 wins and 1 MVP. And in that MVP season, he was dunking.
Yo, Derrick Rose is just a legend, bro.
A different side of point guards. I feel like as far as modern change in the NBA, it's hard not to put these two guys on the list because as far as athleticism as a point guard, these two guys were like at the top. So it's hard not to put them on the list. Now, next but not last, LeBron James. This is the easiest one. LeBron has changed the NBA in so many ways. It's literally too much to name. I mean, he's literally created TV careers. So
now, I one thing I want to give LeBron credit to, outside of the basketball career, I feel like he's probably the best role model. You know what I'm saying? You've never heard anything about him smoking tree, even there's nothing wrong with smoking. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, he drinks, but it's like wine and stuff like that. Like, some old head classic stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's a very good off-the-court role model, and I definitely want to give him credit. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the NBA, I don't feel like, how is he very game-changing, bro? He's just a very athletic small forward. Zion Williamson is athletic. You know what I'm saying? He's hyped up just as much as LeBron was, and plenty of other players. They don't hype up Kevin Durant the way they need to. I mean, LeBron is not a consistent jump shooter. He started to be a consistent jump shooter probably, honestly, let's be honest, until he got to the Miami Heat. And so he noticed that his athleticism was slowing down because he's getting into his 30s. That's when he knew when to step it up. He's not like the best leader because when he doesn't win a title, he leaves the team and quits. It's a lot of controversy, man.
I'm the biggest way that I feel like he changed the NBA. In 2006,
and them Cavs unis was hard.
And all his other draft class buddies were due for another contract. Instead of signing the long, drug-out 5-year deal that everybody signs, the standard deal, LeBron convinced Wade and Bosh to sign a 3-year shorter deal so in 2010 they can possibly team up together.
Oh, that's crazy.
Exactly what happened. this was
I didn't know he plotted that out.
LeBron's way of having a little bit more freedom and foreseeing the future. Like, I don't want to be pinned down with one team forever when they don't make the right moves. So he saw the future and strategically planned that free agency move.
That's kind of cool, yo.
After that, LeBron completely.
I wonder if their
controlled
sons
the
are gonna do that.
in a way that's never quite
Natural
been done.
hairline
And
LeBron.
now
Look at the
players
waves.
all
I ain't gonna lie,
across
LeBron
the
fly as
world
heck. You know what I'm
squad.
saying?
They control exactly where they
LeBron
want to
got
be,
that
and
swag, ain't
they
gonna
took
cap.
the power out of the owner's hands.
He's just
And
very,
now they
very
control.
overrated
You credit
when it
LeBron
comes to the
for a lot of
NBA and shit.
control and a lot of the freedom players have
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Off the court, LeBron is a good role model and he can dress too, but in the NBA, he just has to pipe it down a notch and he'll be okay.
Last video.
It's just like the thing. Iverson, yes! You see, I wasn't surprised with Curry being on here because I was happy already Curry was going to probably be on here. I was surprised with Kevin Durant, and I'm just happy with Iverson.
They made a big deal when I was doing it, and some of the stuff these dudes wearing. Come on, man. They were picking on me then, obviously.
Yeah, they was. I had those shoes. I had those same exact shoes. I hit my game winner when I was playing in your little Orlando, you know, sneaker games joint back in, you know what I'm saying?
Wasn't liked by the media, but the urban community loved him. Basically, the media didn't like him because he was a little too authentic and a little too real for the NBA.
Facts.
He didn't walk and talk with a stick up his ass. He wasn't a puppet. He wasn't controlled. He wasn't all politically correct. He was just simply him.
Exactly.
He popularized the braids, the tattoos. He had his sleeve. He wore his baggy clothes, and the media, they just couldn't stand that man. David Stern definitely couldn't.
They was
David
hating.
Stern didn't like
Yo, Iverson. Oh, you my man. I don't want to see this. A man sitting on his lap. No, Iverson. Okay, thank you. That he gets a pass for that. Iverson's a dude. He gets a pass for that. Oh my gosh. I wish I didn't see that. A man sitting on another man. Let's just let it slide. It's okay. Oh my gosh. Iverson, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with you heavy, man.
Listen to this. This man was so disliked. This man didn't even get an invitation to the 2008 Olympic team.
Wow.
Every single All-Star got an invitation except Allen Iverson. And they did that for a reason. They was blackballing him.
That's crazy.
Mind you, he just came off a season where he played all 82 games and averaged 26. So he wasn't a bum. They just didn't like him. If you ask me, AI kind of created this whole free culture where players express who they really are. So at least all that criticism and all that stuff he went through, it didn't just go in vain. So I'm happy about
Facts.
that. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys.
I enjoyed this video, man. Yeah, man. I was very, very entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Seeing some things that was crazy. You know, changing in the NBA, man. Comment down below who had the best change out of the top 7. In my opinion, it definitely has to be Iverson. Iverson deserves a #1 change. You know what I'm saying? I felt like if, you know, he was growing up and put the NBA, it was in the NBA around this time, he would be treated a lot differently in a better way. But back then, you know what I'm saying, the NBA was kind of racy and everything like that. The NBA is still racy still, and all of sports in general is still racy. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, like, Iverson is just a legend, bro. You just